time I'll mute it and everything when you speak and all that. But welcome to the first ever live NBA all around talk show. It's your boy Dominic Cruz coming at you with the newest edition of the NBA All Around. I want to say thank you guys for tuning in. It's going to be me, your boy Dominic, and of course, main man over here, Ryan. What's up,
What's
man?
going on, players? What's going on, people?
Not much, man. Not much. Just getting ready for some more NBA action, dog. I'm not gonna lie, man. Yesterday was interesting, man. Yesterday was interesting. It got my mind going. I was just like, I don't know about them Cavs, man. I don't know about them Cavs.
Yeah, man. I mean, I see them like getting out the first, maybe the second round, but I think by that conference finals, man, that defense gonna get exposed, man.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
hear
they
you.
defense is weak, man. Like they're giving up 30 points in the quarter, like on the regular.
Yeah, man. But you know what? After last night's Cavs and Pacers matchup, should the Cavs be more worried about their playoff run?
I, I wouldn't be worried, but I think they definitely should know that they got some vulnerabilities, that they need to get taken care of. And I really don't know if you can take care of it because right now it's kind of too late. You kind of stuck with what you got. So it's kind of one of
True.
those things like you're just going to have to hope being a shooting team that, like they can just be hot every game, which I really don't see.
Well, you know what, man? I honestly think that what happened so far in the first game and yesterday, like that defense is just really lacking. Like I know they're ranked what 22, 23 in defense right now, but I mean, let's just say they go up against either the Spurs or the Golden State Warriors in the NBA Finals. Let's even put Houston in this matchup too, because they have a legitimate shot as well. I just don't see that these guys could even contain like LeBron. If we're talking about LeBron like 2, 3, 4 years ago, all right. The Cavs are on a good run right now. They're in a good run, but you know what? I just right now like there's no urgency on defense. Kyrie is a liability, and you know what? I'm not gonna lie. Not saying that he was a factor, but they don't even have JR anymore.
Yeah, that's gonna be a big blow for them, man. I mean, he's one of their better defenders, so yeah, everything that happens in the playoffs, it's like it's crucial. Like
It is crucial. And you know what? I think that though JR he can defend, but I kind of like look at it as his shooting. It's like
oh
streaky.
yeah, definitely that's what he's bringing the most of is his shooting, but he's one of their better perimeter defenders. Now that's not saying much because the perimeter defense is pretty weak, but I mean he's one of the ones because of his athletic ability. I mean he's still a decently athletic player, so he can at least guard the other team's two guard pretty okay. But
Yeah, you know
that's
what?
gonna hurt because now it really is. Go ahead, player.
Oh, well, you know what, man? I think that for JR being out, I think it's gonna hurt them a little bit offensively, not so much on defense. But Iman Shumpert, I mean, that's their best defensive guy, along with Richard Jefferson. But then I think you could blow past Richard Jefferson at the same time too, because he's just as old, but he's a better defender than LeBron. I can say that much. Um,
Yeah,
and
he definitely gonna give you more energy.
he'll give you more energy and everything. And all I gotta say is that for guys like the Cleveland Cavaliers, I just don't see it. And I mean, Paul George is just lighting them up. And the only people that's just holding the paces behind is everybody other than Paul George. I mean, would you agree with
Yeah,
that?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is one of the things where Indiana they better get things cracking this summer and start bringing some people in because I don't see him sticking around that much longer if he don't have any help. And you can see it in this playoffs. Like, I mean, Lance Stevenson is doing an admirable job for just coming in basically like a week before the playoffs started. But I mean, that's still not enough. I mean, he's basically been giving them probably about 14, 15 points. I mean, Jeff Teague been a disappointment.
Mm.
You know, Miles Turner is still, you know, he's making gradual progress for like a young player, but not enough. So yeah, really, I don't see them keeping Paul George if they keep this cast together because he really has no help with them.
Well, you know what? I actually agree with you on that. Jeff Teague actually has been a huge disappointment. You know, his defense he's just being abused. He is being toyed with. He is being chewed up by LeBron. Like every time they'll switch up with him and LeBron, and it's just like it's like the NBA Finals all over again with Steph Curry. But you know, it's just they're getting abused. Lance Stevenson, he let his emotions take over the game, which was a little bit of a factor because, you know, he was that anchor because he is the guy that can spark it. You know, it's not Paul George, it's Lance Stevenson. And
yeah,
I truly believe that, you know, if they can get it together, I think I'm gonna be bold here. I think the Pacers will take game 3, and I'm gonna be real bold. They're gonna take game 4.
Wow, that is bold. Yeah, that's bold. I was thinking I was gonna give them game 3. I think they'll come back, play a lot more solid. And Indiana, they had a home crowd behind them. But then I think Cleveland, I'm guessing they're gonna win game 4. It's just too much firepower for Pacers. Like it was the perfect matchup for Cleveland. It's almost, I can almost believe that conspiracy theory stuff about them losing on purpose to get the number 2 seed because Indiana was the perfect matchup for them because Indiana is one of the weaker defensive teams that's in the East right now in the playoffs, and they also, you know, like don't have like any inside presence. Miles Turner is more of a face-up type center, so they really don't have anybody that's going to challenge Cleveland down low. So it's the perfect matchup. So like I really don't see Indiana being the team that's going to give them too much competition this first round. I think it'll be like the Pistons was last year, like how my Pistons were. It'll be competitive games, all the games, but I think Cleveland will just be too good for them.
Yeah, you
so
know
I was
what?
thinking,
Oh, so
I was just thinking game 3 they'll take them, but our game 4 I don't know.
Well, you know what, man? We're gonna have to find out in the next few days because that is a very challenging Pacer squad, and if they get it together, you know, then you know I can see them making a run for it. But speaking of getting it together, after game 1 of on the east side of the Eastern Conference with the Bulls versus Celtics, the number 1 seed versus the 8th seed, we got the Bulls who are very experienced. We got three guys who are very experienced in the playoffs, and a bunch of guys that have no experience, that have barely any experience. Excuse me. But will tonight be the night that the Celtics even the series? And do you think Isaiah Thomas is going to be able to bring it tonight even more?
Yeah, I think I expect the Celtics to win tonight. I think the first game it was a lot of emotions. I mean, you know, Isaiah Thomas had just lost his sister the day before, you know, so it's like he really hadn't had too much time to grieve, and he's really not done grieving. I mean, I don't even know if they had the funeral yet. I mean, that was just this weekend, so I'm sure he's still in the grieving process. But you know, I think emotions were high for the whole team. You know, that game on was that Sunday when they played Saturday or Sunday weekend. So anyway, you know, it was basically a lot of emotions going on. I think tonight or whatever, I think you'll see them a little bit more calm, relaxed. They're at home. I think they'll send more of a message tonight. I think I expect them to come out, and I wouldn't be surprised if they blew out the Bulls tonight, you know, and people jump back on the bandwagon or whatever.
Yeah,
you know,
I do.
but it's a tough series.
I do agree with that. And it will be a tough series. I mean, people did predict that this is going to be a tough matchup because the Bulls they're more of they're a bigger matchup than the Miami Heat would be a bigger matchup with, because Miami Heat, they're also guys that barely have any playoff experience, and the Celtics would have the upper hand on it. So, but speaking of, you know, the Celtics, Isaiah Thomas, obviously he's probably not done grieving. Emotions will be high for him again tonight, but I think he'll be a little bit more focused, and then he'll be able to contribute all. He'll be playing tonight. I would be thinking that he's playing for his sister, and the Celtics are going to run with it, and the rebounding should be better. There was a lack of rebounding in the first game. It was just a lack of urgency to getting it, but I think tonight should be a lot better. And with the Celtics, if they do end up blowing them out, I think they can take 2 more in Chicago.
If they can blow them out, yeah, I think that's what I think gonna happen. But taking 2, I think they're gonna end it on their floor. I don't know if they're gonna like take 2 in Chicago, but they'll get 1. I think they're gonna win back home court advantage by going to Chicago and win the 1 game they need. And then I think they'll finish it out on or whatever,
Oh man. Well, you know what, man? So let's see what happens tonight, because Isaiah Thomas, it's more than just a game for him. It's about his sister, and obviously the Bulls are trying to rain on that parade and everything. But you know what? Moving on, the Clippers and Utah Jazz is a very interesting series. I don't know if anybody's paying attention too much to it, but they're definitely paying attention to the Clippers being dismantled by, nonetheless, the Clippers. But if they lose tonight, we saw it in Chris Paul's body language. He got mad, frustrated at that buzzer beater. But if they lose tonight, is there a possibility that the Clippers are going to get swept?
Anything is possible, and they're one of those teams where seeing a sweep, is like it's not like where it's out of the ordinary, because they're just a disappointing team. So if they got swept, it wouldn't surprise me. But I would hope that they have a little bit more heart than that. I don't expect them to win the series because I just think Utah gives them problems like being a deeper team than them. I think the Clippers' depth has always been an issue over the years. It's like, they get one, usually it's always one of their stars getting hurt, and then that's what hurt them or whatever. But even now, it's just kind of like when they go to the bench, it's kind of like they have a little drop off or whatever. Guys like Austin Rivers, I've just never been a fan of. So I think the Utah Jazz, I think they're depth. You saw like Joe Johnson came in and he was looking like it was back in 2005,
Yeah.
So
I know exactly what you mean, man. Like Joe Johnson just turned back the hand. He just turned back the hands of time. He just turned the clocks back and said, I'm about to turn this on. I mean, he is one of the most clutch guys in the NBA today. And for him to perform like that, I mean, Utah is a little scary right now. I mean, is it enough to beat the Warriors? Is it enough to beat the Spurs? Absolutely not. But they do give the Clippers a big problem. And I do think that even if they beat the Clippers, which I think is a strong possibility that they'll beat the Clippers in the series, that this team, the Los Angeles Clippers, will be dismantled. Like Blake Griffin will go. I think Chris Paul will go. And, you'll be left with the Austin Rivers. Oh, I think might go too. But at the same
Rivers
time,
be gone.
Doc Rivers will be gone too. I mean, I think the Clippers should be gone from LA. To be honest, I mean, like every time you go to LA, it's just all about the Lakers, man. It's like these guys need to go back home, and I'm talking home, and I'm saying San Diego, and I'm not talking Inglewood. But but the Utah Jazz provide so much power to that Clippers squad that the bench is going to give them a problem. They have more depth than the Clippers. The Clippers is just, I want to say they're aging and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? They're like aging, and they got like, if you saw at the end of the game, Chris Paul, you saw his reaction. He kicked and then he he hit his hands on his lap and just like a little kid. It was as funny as me. But that whole entire body language, just from him in general, just says everything about the organization and how much they're in trouble.
Yeah, I don't know what they can do really to change it other than blow it up. I mean, they have they have a problem of where their stars are like either on their way out of being out of their prime or they're just entering their prime. So it's kind of one of those things. They don't have time to wait on young talent to develop. So they have to get guys in there right now, and their salary cap situation is just like horrible. So you really can't get anybody in there except for young guys. So I think it just makes sense since Chris Paul, I think he can opt out of his contract. I'm pretty sure he will. I don't see them re-signing him. Blake Griffin, he can opt out of his contract. Sure, they'll try to re-sign him, but I think he'll have to look at it like, you know, can he really win there in the Clippers in the organization? You know how they've been run over the years, and with what they have, I'm sure he'll probably see greener pastures somewhere else or whatever. And how it's been going the last few years with all these superstars leaving, it wouldn't shock me if he left.
Oh, you know what, man? If he left, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if he went to the Lakers. But at the same time, that Lakers trade, everybody still talks about that to this day. So, it wouldn't surprise me that he went to go join Melo on wherever he goes, or LeBron, which that would be a bigger squad than the Warriors and that Miami Heat team if he was to team up with Melo and Chris Paul, because I know these guys talked about it, and that's what they're trying to do before their careers end. So let's, you know what, we'll find out about the Clippers later on. Seeing see if they can keep it together and move on to the next series. But I want to move on to the next topic. Last night's game with the Grizzlies and San Antonio Spurs. Now, last night, the Spurs dominated, took care of the ball, and there was a lot of questionable calls. Head coach, the Memphis head coach, he complained about the officiating, and you saw in the press conference, like, this guy was just he was like, I don't care if I get fined. You could fine me. I'm going to complain about this. But my question to you is, are the Grizzlies right about the officiating in this series?
I would say it's kind of tilted a little bit towards San Antonio, but I don't think it was like just horrible officiating. It was kind of like a little bit, like I would say, like, if you were doing it by percentages, I'd say it's about 60% in San Antonio's favor. I wouldn't say it's like 80-90% where it was basically it's one of those things like the way that the Memphis plays, they play like, going to the back. I mean, they play like near the basket, but a lot of the guys or whatever, like, their shots are a little bit easier to block because they're not like athletic. So, like, I know the coach used Zach Randolph as a example, but I mean, like, he's a guy that, like, he's going to be a little bit easier to defend because he's not going to be jumping out the gym. So it's like it's kind of easier for guys to maybe block his shot. So, I thought it was definitely in San Antonio's favor, but I didn't think it was just like egregious where it was like, oh, this is like horrible,
Well, yeah, I do agree. I mean, the officiating is a little bit of a questionable, but then, using Zach Randolph is not the best example to use because he's a big guy too. And, we all know the big guys in the NBA, they're always going to get the easiest calls. They're easy to call fouls on. And, it's even if those calls were, the NBA refs have a tough job. I can't blame them all the time, except, last year's finals. I'm just kidding. But, but I gotta say that if you could say this about Vince Carter or Mike Conley, then I can understand, but that was a San Antonio's game, man. And those guys are very well coached. I don't think they'll make it to the finals, but, they are a very well coached team, and that Memphis Grizzlies team is still, figuring it out. And especially Mike Conley, who's been out he's been dealing with some injuries and stuff like that. So with the refs in question and everything, that's just how the game goes. I mean, how do you see Memphis? Do you see the Memphis Grizzlies winning? Do you see them getting swept, or do you see them stealing at least one?
I think they'll get one. They have a lot of heart. So I mean, teams with heart or whatever, they're not gonna go out and get swept. But I just think like more than anything, just this is one of those series where you just see talent come into play. It's just they're lacking too much in talent when it comes to San Antonio. Basically, Zach Randolph isn't what he was 5 years ago. So basically, all they really have is Mark Gasol, and Conley is the highest paid player in the league, but he's not really that kind of guy or whatever. He's more of he's a solid player. So Mark Gasol is really the only guy to me on their team that's like a matchup problem for teams, and that's not enough to get it done. So I just don't see them doing anything to make it too competitive with San Antonio. I'll give them one game. Two, I really don't see that.
You know what? I'll have to go with sweep. Get the brooms out and get them all ready, because I think that San Antonio is not playing, and Kawhi is going to dismantle them. But the farthest I will see them, I think they're going to go just as far as the Western Conference Finals, and I think that's where they'll meet the Warriors. And with San Antonio's defense and their team playing and all that, I just don't think it'll be enough for Memphis to handle. So, we'll find out, but let's just see how that whole thing goes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So, it's not out the realm.
Nah, it's not. But moving on, from Memphis, from the Memphis San Antonio series, wanted to get your take on the Golden State Warriors and Portland Trailblazers. Now, the first game, that was exciting to watch. I mean, I know it was close. I mean, props to Portland for even, keeping it at a game and then to the last quarter. Do you see them actually still in one at least? Do you see CJ McCollum actually being consistent with his scoring? Because in that third quarter, in game one, he did go a little cold. And in the fourth quarter, he did go a little cold. He did go.
Yeah. The biggest thing in that series is going to be I've been hearing about Nurkic, how he'll play or not. I think he's like the difference maker to me. If Nurkic can come back, in any of these games soon, I'll give them one game because I think he's a matchup problem for Golden State. He'll give them trouble. I don't think they have anybody that can guard him. But if that leg injury is too much for him, I see it being a sweeper. I don't see them they don't have enough firepower. I mean, you can have Dame Lillard and CJ McCollum can go out for 30 points apiece, and it still won't be enough because the other guys is probably going to give you like 30 total points, period.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I think with or without him, they're going to get sweet. They're going to get the brooms out, man. The Warriors are ready. They're going to get them brooms out. They haven't forgot. It's like the San Antonio Spurs in 2014, where they were just like, they didn't like how the finals result ended in 2013, so they just came storming in the NBA Finals and they just dismantled the Miami Heat at the time. But I think that's what's going on with the Warriors right now. I think those Portland Trailblazers, they're about to get swept. You can keep Dame Lillard, you can keep McCollum open all day, but those other cats in the game, I don't think it'll be enough. Warriors are coming, and with KD, it's just incredibly dangerous. And there were a lot of talks about KD being actually the best scorer in today's NBA, and he actually might be the best scorer in the NBA. Period, even greater than Michael Jordan. And what I've been seeing from this cat is that he can score on you anytime. Like, this dude, he could pull up from. He could just pull up on you and hand in his face, and he'll still score on you. It's just like you can't even. It's like no matter what you use, you can use you can blindfold him if you want to, or you can hit him if you want to, but he's still gonna score. It's just that dangerous.
Yeah, he's definitely without a doubt the best scorer in the league right now. It's really no way you can contain him. I mean, you just have to hope he has an off night, which is very seldom. Whatever, he hardly ever has an off night. He's like one of the most like efficient scorers that you'll find in the history of the league. You know, he's a 50% shooter like every game. So it's like he doesn't miss too many or whatever. Like I guess with him, you have to kind of hope that the shots that he does miss is the ones at the crucial moments that you need the most, because he's not going to miss many shots.
That's very true. And I think that with the shots that he missed last year in the crucial moments, I just think fatigue played a factor. But because, you know, the coach, Billy Donovan, didn't manage those time, he just gave him all those minutes. You got Steve Kerr managing his time, saying, "Nah, you only can play this much. I'm only gonna play you this much. I'm gonna make sure you got energy so you can score." So I think that what he's doing is that I think KD actually hit those crucial moments this time around because of those minutes that he's actually getting and how much time he's actually resting. So, you know, it's going to be interesting to see how this whole thing is going to pan out. And you know what? I want to. I know we're wrapping up real soon, but I wanted to, you know, get your take on it. And you know, what's been the most entertaining NBA playoff series so far?
The most entertaining playoff series so far. I would have to go with. That's a good question. I think I've actually been enjoying. I enjoyed the first game of the Celtics and the Bulls so far. I think that one's going to be like the best one out of all of the series. I think that one's going 7, and I think pretty much every game is going to be close down to the wire. Like I think like the Cleveland and Indiana, those have been exciting too, and those will be like exciting. But I don't think they'll go as long. I think that's going to go 5. You know, something like that, where I think Celtics and Pacers is going to go 7.
Wow, so you said the Pacers are going to go 7 with the Cavs?
No, I meant the Celtics and the Bulls. I'm sorry.
It's all right. And, you know, I think Celtics and the Bulls. People are saying that that's going to be the most entertaining series. It's going to be close. They're going to be close and close because you got the Bulls that have some playoff experience with Wade, Butler, Rondo, you know. And I think that my most entertaining series, I mean, they may be down 2-0, but I'm going to say Pacers and Cavs because that Cavs defense is just something that's just where it's like waiting to collapse. And I'm just like, and you saw in the fourth quarter, these cats were up 18 points. And then next thing you know, the Pacers were storming back, and then it was storming back. And then to only they were like down by 3 to 5 between those two. And it was just really interesting to me where I was just like, all right, this is going to be an entertaining series where I actually do think that's going to be the series to watch more so than the Bulls and Celtics, because I don't know, that Bulls and Celtics game is it's emotional, you know, and you know, I'm a Celtics fan, so I got, but you know, I truly believe that Cavs Pacers is the most entertaining one so far.
Okay, we'll see after tonight or whatever. I mean, you got 2 games to compare to just one, but I think tonight you're gonna see a real good game. I'm predicting right now it's going out for 40 tonight. He's gonna have a 40-point game.
Well, you know what? We're gonna have to find out. We're gonna find out soon. So on the next NBA All Around Talk episode, the second episode, I want to really appreciate and say thank you to Ryan for being part of the show and you know,
no problem.
But next time, guys, I just want to say next time, guys, we're going to be debating on the next NBA topic. So stick around. It's your boy Dominic Cruz coming at you with the first ever live NBA All Around Talk episode 1 first. Until next time, guys, take care.